Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Anand Bihari Prabhu, thank you very much, all devotees who have joined, and all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So today we'll continue on our beautiful journey through the 10th canto, some of the most ecstatic and intimately connected pastimes to the Supreme Lord that the Lord has exhibited for our good fortune and that have been brought to us into our hearts and into the world by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll get started. So today's talk is entitled Songs of Separation. Last time we spoke, we talked about the 6 different Gopi Gitas. This is, of course, one of them, the Brahma Gita. And then, of course, the Brahma Gita part is over, and now we're just talking about constant remembrance and love. What is that all about? Constant remembrance. So let us dive right into it. Today, by the way, is a very auspicious day. It is known as Makar Sankranti. Makar Sankranti. And that is the day, it is so auspicious that, Bhishma Pitama, grandfather Bhishma, when he was lying on his bed of arrows, his body was perforated every place. There's more injuries than there was actual body. And his blood had all drained out. There's no blood left, hardly anything even circulating through his body. Yet he was holding his life airs circulating, right? Even in that difficult situation, he waited a couple more days for this date. That's how auspicious this is. He said, I'm going to wait until Makar Sankranti. This is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how important this day. Now, another interesting thing to note, Makar Sankranti always falls on January 14th, Western calendar, every year. Why? Because Makar Sankranti is based on the movement of the sun, not on the moon. So it's not lunar calendar. You see? That's why it's always when the sun starts moving to the north in a particular direction, it's considered auspicious. So every year, it's not difficult, just mark in your calendar, January 14th. You can do many auspicious things on that day because it's an inherently auspicious day. So it's a good day to make some commitment to yourself that I'm going to go deeper into my chanting of the holy names. I'm going to go deeper in the worship of the Lord. I'm trying to understand more deeply the secrets of Srimad Bhagavatam and so on. So let's get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We find ourselves in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 47, verse number 48. We'll cover a couple of verses in this section today. So the gopis, these are the gopis, and they are speaking to this divine personality here. It looks like Krishna, but that's not Krishna. They are speaking to Uddhava. Uddhava has come to deliver a message to the gopis. And the gopis are, in their humility, actually giving him a schooling. He thought he would come there to teach them something, but they taught him a thing or two of what it means to be a rasika, a devotee of the Lord who is infused with nothing but pure, affectionate love. So now we are going to go to this section after the Brahma Gita. When you had that section of Srimati Radharani speaking to the bumblebee. So now we have this verse. Okay, so we'll go into it. Verse number 48. Ka utsaheta santyaktum Uttamah shloka samvidam Anichatopi yasya shri Angana chavate kvachit. So the gopis are talking to Uddhava after expressing the Brahmar Gita. And they're really crestfallen. They're very sad. And Uddhava assured them that Krishna is thinking of them and missing them. And they felt some consolation after that. So these next few verses give us some further clues as to how they're coping with this painful separation. And they also give us, those of us who are conditioned souls, some clues as to how the process of remembering Krishna in separation can connect us deeply with him. We can tie our consciousness to him. And eventually we can also become Krishna conscious. To become Krishna conscious is not a very cheap thing. It's not a small thing. It's not a small accomplishment. Although that's who we naturally are. But given a level of our conditioning, it's not easy. But gopis are showing us a quick path. It's marayanti, you see, quick path. So the translation is, the gopis are telling, who can bear to give up intimate talks with Lord Uttama Shloka? That's the name of Krishna. Although he shows no interest in her, goddess Shri never moves from her place on his chest. So they know Krishna and Vishnu are the same person. They know Lakshmi Devi, who is goddess Shri, is his eternal consort. They know that. And they're now expressing that who can give up the Lord? Goddess Shri, Lakshmi Devi, is very chanchala. She's known as chanchala. Chanchala means she doesn't stay in one place very long. She moves very quickly. We see that in the world. You know, someone is rich one day, another day they're bankrupt. You know, the movement of fortune, goddess of fortune, very quick and unpredictable. And yet, she never budges from her place with Narayan. See? So they continue. Gopis continue. Verse 49. Sharit Chaila Vanodesha Gavo Venurava Ime Shankar Shana Sahayena Krishnena Charita Prabhu. Dear Uddhava Prabhu, when Krishna was here in the company of Shankarshan, that's Lord Balaram, he enjoyed all these rivers, hills, forests, cows, and flute sounds. See, so this is Govardhan, this is the river Yamuna, and the forest, and beautiful sounds of the flute that he played, and the cows walking around. He enjoyed them. This verse here, it highlights how we also can gain access to Krishna through his holy Dham of Vrindavan. His Dham of Vrindavan is very special, very important. See, Krishna may have left physically in the sense that he may not be manifest to us in these pastimes, but the Dham is still here. See? So, whenever we read the Bhagavatam, remember the Bhagavatam is written for us. It's written for those of us who are struggling, especially in Kali Yuga. So if it's written for us, we have to understand that let us find ways to take the verse, every word from Bhagavatam, and see how can I leverage the meaning of that verse and apply it in my life to make one more move closer to Krishna today. So this verse right here, it highlights Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. By the way, on February 29th, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance anniversary is being celebrated. And it is very special this year because it is the 150th anniversary of his appearance. So I'll make a note. Let's do a special celebration, 150th anniversary of his appearance this year in 2024, just next month. So he writes, Sarada Thakur writes this in this passage. He says, we find Sri Chaitanya Deva's philosophy authoritatively summarized in one verse. And he quotes this verse. He says, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradara Para. He says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is to be worshipped. He is the worshipable Lord, along with his transcendental abode, Vrindavan. That's what the gopis are glorifying here. The most pleasing form of worship, the most pleasing method, the way of worship of that person, the transcendental personality, is what? Is that which is performed by the gopis of Vrindavan, Vrajavadhu. That's the highest. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless authority on every subject matter, and pure love of God is the ultimate goal for all life. Prema Pumartho Mahan. That is the ultimate goal for all life. And it's a goal for everybody. So he says, we have the highest regard for these statements, as they are the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Matavidam Tatradana Napara. This is a commentary. It's called Chaitanya Manjusha, which is a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. So Lord Krishna manifests himself in three features before his devotees according to their respective qualifications. All these features are complete. They are not partial or indirect manifestation of Krishna in the way his manifestations as Paramatma and Brahman are partial. What are these three features? These three features are described as complete, more complete, and most complete, and are situated in Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan respectively. So these are three forms of the Lord. Dwarka Krishna, Mathura Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna. In Dwarka, Krishna's manifestation is complete. In Mathura, it is more complete. And in Vraja, in Vrindavan, he is most complete. In the glories of Sri Vrindavan Dham, Srila Rupa Goswami describes, May Vrindavana, which is fragrant with a gentle breeze that makes the lotuses in the Yamuna rock to and fro, where there are groves of Kadamba trees and many gopis whose hearts are blossoming with happiness by hearing the music of Lord Mukunda's flute, grant me her shelter. So he's praying to Vrindavan now. He says, May Vrindavan, where Lord Brahma and other Jagat Gurus desire to be born, even as an insignificant blade of grass, and which, even though it is a forest, is many thousands of times more opulent, beautiful, charming, and sweet than the spiritual cities of Vaikuntha. May that Vrindavan be my sole shelter. May Vrindavan, where the fragrance of the eternally blossoming flower vines fills the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, with wonder, and where the bumblebees in the trees, filled with very sweet honey, are poets who bow down and recite beautiful poetry. So this is the glories of Vrindavan Dham being spoken to Uddhava Prabhu by the gopis, or the highest devotees of the Lord. This is an incredibly beautiful verse and so potent. This is a reminder of the Lord in separation. And then the gopis take it up another notch of more intimacy. And in verse number 50, the next one, it says, Punah punah smarayanti Nanda Gopa Sutambata Sriniketais Tatpadakair Vismartum Naiva Shaknuma. All these remind us constantly of Nanda's son. Indeed, because we see Krishna's footprints, which are marked with divine symbols, we can never forget him. Remember when Krishna walked in Vrindavan, he never wore shoes. And the dust of Vrindavan is so soft and fine, like baby powder almost. And he would step on it and leave very, very detailed imprints of his lotus feet. And the gopis would just stare at these imprints and constantly cry and remember Krishna. You can imagine their feelings. Now, what are these divine symbols that they're talking about? So you can see in this image, there's some very auspicious signs. We can go through some of these symbols. The first one, this is on his right foot. Right foot, for us, it's the one on the left. But his right foot is like this. Okay? So it's the first one is barley corn, which means that, what does that symbolize? That once one finds shelter at his lotus feet, then the devotee's journey, previous journey through many, many births and deaths is actually very tiny, insignificant compared to anything else, like a barley corn. It also demonstrates that these grains are sustenance of life for living beings. Similarly, his lotus feet are the sustenance and nourishment for the soul. Then you have the disc, the chakra right here. That's a barley corn, just at the base of his toe. And then the chakra, this weapon that cuts down the 6 enemies of the devotees. It's lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, and bewilderment. It cuts it out if you meditate on this. Then number 3, the upward curving line, Urdhva Rekha. This mark signifies devotees who cling to his feet as if holding a lifeline. They'll be transported upward to Krishna and they'll never fall. And then you have 4, the lotus is the lotus right there. It signifies that just as the lotus grows out of water, similarly, those whose eyes swell with tears upon holding the Lord's lotus feet receive in their heart the highest benefit. This also shows that Goddess Lakshmi is always there at his lotus feet, serving him. Then you have the Ankusha. Ankusha is this, it's a goad to control elephants. This indicates that when we meditate on the feet of the Lord, the elephants of our minds, of the devotees, they remain under control. They may be big and powerful, but the goad, the small thing, keeps them in line. We can keep our mind in line also by the mercy of the Lord. Then you have the flag, Dvaj. There's a flag there. This announces for the devotee that meditating on his feet gives a sense of security and safe protection. The flag represents the Lord. In the distance, you can see the king coming. Then you feel, yes, the king is here. He's going to protect us. That's the, it heralds the victory of the Lord. It heralds the coming of the Lord. That's the flag. Then you have the thunderbolt, which smashes to pieces the karmic mountain, the mountain of our karmic reactions. It destroys it. And then there's umbrella. The umbrella, it gives us shelter. We are sheltered from the incessant rainfall of material miseries. It also reminds us of Krishna holding up the Govardhan hill and sheltering his closest devotees, protecting them from the angry Indra. In 9, you have the octagon. It symbolizes those who take shelter of his feet are protected from all 8 directions. You know, you have 8 directions, like north, east, southwest, northeast, northwest, like that. 8 directions. You're protected. And then you have the swastika, which is auspicious symbol, that nothing inauspicious can come to those who are holding his lotus feet. And then 11, which is jambu phal, that's the fruit, that his feet are worshipped by the residents of Jambudvip. Jambudvip is this region according to Vedic cosmography. So that's the right foot. Then you have left foot, which has some more symbols. So that's number 12. The conch shell you see over here, that those who take shelter of his feet are rescued from distress. That's the conch shell. Then you have a symbol of the sky. That's two circles. That's the sky. That his feet pervade all over. They're everywhere. Wherever the sky is, he's present. Sky means space. It's also within our body, it's outside. Then the bow of the Lord, reveals that those who hold on to his feet, they'll be free from worries and difficulties. And then you have a calf's hoof print. It means that those who have taken shelter of the Lord by meditating on his feet, this whole great ocean of material suffering and existence becomes very small, insignificant, like the water in a calf's hoof print. You have a triangle, tricorn, triangle, that those who take to his lotus feet, they'll be saved from threefold miseries of Maya. Then you have the water pot, there's water pots there, that his feet hold the nectarian ambrosia to be consumed by the thirsting souls. And that pitcher always remains full and available. Then you have the half moon, Ardha Chandra, which means that even the great lords like Lord Shiva, who decorate his forehead, his head with the moon, they're holding his feet on them. And the last one, the fish, it shows that just as a fish cannot survive without water, the surrendered devotees cannot breathe without being directly associated with his lotus feet. So these different symbols of the lotus feet of the Lord, we can meditate on them, and they're so meaningful, and they give us such relief. So you can imagine the gopis describing these, the aggregate of all the feelings saturating their hearts. Okay, then we go to the next verse. Moving a little fast because there's so much to cover. And I want to leave some time. Gatya lalitayodara hasalila valokane madhya gira hrita diya kathantam vismaramahe. O Uddhava, how can we forget him when our hearts have been stolen away by the charming way he walks, his generous smile and playful glances, and his honey-like words? You can see how beautifully poetic this is. And now they're remembering how Krishna stole their hearts. And we can pray, my Lord, when will my heart be clean enough to be stolen? In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a beautiful verse from Bilva Mangal Thakur. It's quoted from Krishna Karnamrita. It says, Madhuram Madhuram Vapurasya Vibhor, Madhuram Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram, Madhugandhi Mridu Smitameta Daho, Madhuram Madhuram, Madhuram Madhuram. Oh my Lord, the transcendental body of Krishna is very sweet. His face is even sweeter than his body, but his soft smile, which has the fragrance of honey, is sweeter still. His breath, his smile has a fragrance of honey. Where else are you going to get this level of intimate description of the Supreme Lord? It's very sweet. So the gopis remembering that his words are like honey. He Natha, He Ramanatha, Vajanathartinashana, Magnam Uddhara Govinda, Gokulam Vrijinarnava. O Master of the goddess of fortune, O Master of Vraja, O destroyer of all suffering, Govinda, please lift your Gokula out of the ocean of distress in which it is drowning. Gopis are still speaking this. Keep that in mind. The purport by disciple of Srila Prabhupada says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur presents the following insight into the scene. Someone might propose to the gopis, why don't you just go somewhere else? Leave Vrindavan, and then you won't have to see these rivers, mountains, and forests. Cover your eyes with your garments. Use your intelligence to lead your mind to some other thought, and thus forget Krishna. The gopis answered this suggestion in the previous verse by stating, We no longer possess our intelligence, for Krishna has taken it away by his supreme beauty and charm. So don't ask us to be smart. Don't ask us to be intelligent. That was stolen by Krishna a long time ago. So don't use logic with us. Now, in the present verse, the feelings of the gopis become so strong. See, Uddhava is standing right there. But they disregard Uddhava and turning toward Mathura, they turn the direction and address Krishna himself directly with humble cries. They address Krishna as Vrajanatha because in the past, young Krishna performed many inconceivable pastimes to protect his beloved village, such as lifting Govardhan Hill and destroying many monstrous demons. That's how he protected the village people. In this heart-rending verse, the gopis cry out to Krishna to remember the wonderful, sweet relationship they once enjoyed together as innocent village people. Indeed, Sri Krishna would lovingly take care of his father's cows, and the gopis appealed to him to remember these duties and return so he could resume them. Please come back. So this verse again. O master of the goddess of fortune, O master of Raja, O destroyer of all suffering, Govinda, please lift your Gokula out of the ocean of distress in which it is drowning. So just as the gopis now turn directly to the Lord, even though he is not visibly present, and they're imploring him to lift them out of their distress, we can similarly turn to the Lord when we chant. So we chant the Maha Mantra that goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You know how this verse is saying, Oh Master, Hey Natha, Hey Ramanatha. Again and again, they're repeating. The repetitive element is there. Oh Master, oh Master. This mantra is like that. Do you know what mantra they chant in Golok Vrindavan, in the spiritual world? I'll tell you the mantra. Maybe you've not heard this one, but it goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's all the gopis chant that mantra. Do you know which mantra Radharani chants in the spiritual world? Because see, Hare refers to Radha, right? So which mantra does she chant? I'll tell you. She chants this one. She says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The same one. Now, what does she mean when she chants it? You see, when you're calling Hara, when you call them out, Hara, you say Hare. Like if you want to call Sita, you say Site. If you want to call Radha, you say Radhe, please come. So when you call Hara, you say Hare, please come. But who is Radharani calling out when she says Hare? In Sanskrit, the cool thing is that even if you want to call Hari, you say Hare. So she's calling out Hari. Hari, oh Hari, come. Hari, like that. So Hare Krishna, same mantra, is magical. Our mantra is coming directly from Krishna's spiritual realm, this planet. It is the wealth of the love of his world. Golokera prema dhana harinama sankirtana. Golokera, it's a prema dhana, the wealth of love. This mantra is not ordinary. It's for everyone, for all times. Very powerful. So powerful, it completely eradicates all the effects, all the ill effects of Kali Yuga. So the repetition we see in this verse, oh Master, when we are urgently trying to get the attention of somebody, for example, it's like Sam, come on, you repeat. So here they're calling out, Hey Natha. So in our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the repetition is sweet. It has a sense of urgency. It has a sense of yearning of the heart. That my Lord, please hear my prayer. Please hear me. Please have mercy on me. Please accept me as yours. When we chant, are we infusing our chanting with that feeling? Are we mumbling it away? It's fine if you're mumbling, but maybe we want to add some feeling to it. That's the way it's supposed to be done. So let us take this opportunity when we read these verses, Bhagavatam, to leverage the love of the gopis, and have that infuse our hearts so that we can also improve the quality of our chanting, quality of our approach to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Gopala Prabhu ki jai. So Krishna chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the spiritual world. Is that right?
He chants, that's a good question. In the spiritual world, Krishna chants it. But when he chants in the spiritual world, what happens? He gets in a very extreme mood of separation. And his color changes from blackish to golden. And he gives up his flute, takes up a begging bowl, and manifests the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu right there in the spiritual world. Then he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And if you look on your altar, he's standing right there with Radha Murlidhar.
Wow, that is so esoteric, yet so relatable and clear. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, it's time for love and exchanges. It's Sunday morning. We can go over time. Damodar Priya, it was scary without you yesterday. Tell you. So Damodar Priya, unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna. I believe that Gautam Ghosh Prabhu had his hand up earlier, so I just wanted to make sure that he got a chance to go first since he had his hand up while we were having class.
I see he's asking questions on the chat. And Jeffrey Ackler very kindly answered it. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing about the difference between when Radha calls on, like that. First off, just nerding about the Sanskrit is really cool, especially because you do it in very tiny bits. You don't go too far with it, which I really appreciate. But I love that when Radha is saying Hare, she's calling on Krishna. And when Krishna says Hare, he's calling on her. And then it just continues on that whole idea of the Mahamantra being like a dance between them, like the eternal sacred love dance between Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna. So I love that added kind of hook to the Mahamantra, and that just that extra level of loving exchanges between the divine couple, like our divine mother and father within the Mahamantra. So I can't geek out on it more. And then I also just wanted to say, I wrote in the chat, please, can you give a class that teaches us how to sing the Sanskrit verses as nicely as you, especially for those of us who have been called to give class and we cannot do it as nicely as you. I really appreciate it. Like I said it as a joke, but not really. So Haribo.
Hey, well, if you schedule it, and I see Vanisha gave a thumbs up as well. So if you schedule it, I'll do it. It's not that difficult. I don't have a class that's actually structured. I just kind of, it's like several meters, 4 or 5 meters. If you know how to sing them, then you can cover 99% of verses that we're called upon, So if we can cover those 4 or 5 meters, like first recognize what meter it is. Once you recognize the meter, then you got to have, each meter has its own tune. And once you have the tune, then it's not difficult, you see. So and meters have names in it too. Like, so you're mentioning how the gopis and Krishna and Radharani. And so when we approach our chanting beads, what are these 108 beads? They're the 108 gopis. What is this head bead? This one is Krishna bead. That's Krishna in the center of the gopis. What is the round circle? 16 rounds. That's a Rasa dance circle. When we grab the beads, we are approaching the Rasa dance Leela. If you approach it with that understanding and that respect, and then we cry out to every gopi, and we cry out to the Lord, and this is the mantra they are singing anyway, then we enter into that circle with that consciousness. So we do 16 rounds at least. So if we take that mood and walk towards the beats that way, we'll find our quality improving better. Yeah. Okay, Vanisha has a hand up. Go ahead, Manisha.
Hare Krishna, good morning. Thank you for your
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Could you say one more time the first part about what the barley corn represents? I heard the second part about sustenance, but the first part wasn't clear to me. If you could just explain it a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's the right. So one is the sustenance, which is it's a very nutritious grain, but the other part is really about how that grain is so tiny, right? So that once you find shelter at his lotus feet, then what happens? All the what we thought was significant in our life, it becomes so small by comparison. And not just this life, but the cumulative effects of trillions of lifetimes. Now you may say, what are the cumulative effects? Those lives are gone. We don't care. Those cumulative effects are visible today in the form of our own hang-ups, our own, what we call irrational fears or things that we can't explain. It's the cumulative effect of all that, our insecurities. All that dissolves and it becomes as insignificant as a barley corn compared to, a big mountain. You see? Yeah. Okay. If Christina, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for today. Like for real, thank you. And the reason why I say that is because I've been absolutely drained, just absolutely drained. And, Krishna just pulled me out of my sleep this risings. And I jumped on and I didn't, I've just been really drained. And now I understand why I was pulled out and came here today, because I absolutely see, like, you, Prabhu, you have such compassion, and the way that you describe the Sankhya philosophy I love the mysticism of the Vedas, and the way that you describe the Sankhya philosophy and fine-tuned it in a way that was very like Damodar Priya said, it's very digestible. It's beautiful, and like you speaking this knowledge kind of like reawakens the compassion within my heart. And because for a while, like I connected japa with goals, gotta chant my japa so I can reach this goal and reach that goal. And it's really not about that. It's really the experience. And for a while, I've been rewiring my brain to not chant my japa for the for the end goal, but for the experience. And that's been really tough on me, because when I started, it was always about the end goal. So I've been really working on the rewiring of my of my japa. And a lot of what you said, I need to embody it, so that I can kind of really just chant for the experience instead of this end goal that seems so far away. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, what am I doing? Like I'm tripping up on my feet. So I just really just wanted to take the time to give you your flowers, Prabhu, and thank you, because the way that you approach it, it's you have such compassion, and it's really radiating, yeah. And like I can really feel it. And I'm just very grateful that I woke up from my sleep this morning, and because I really need it. My life has been really tough lately, so I really need a little bit extra these days. But I'm just grateful to be here, and I just needed to appreciate and let you know that it's very impactful, for real. Thank you, Haribo.
Well, thank you for your compassion and for joining us. This is what it's all about, joining in a circle together and reading it together. The magic is done by Srimad Bhagavatam. All we have to do is just kind of get together and open it and say, oh, whoa, this is so cool. And then just read it. It's amazing what Prabhupada has given us. All we have to do is just take it up. The gold is lying on the streets. It's our foolishness if we don't go and pick it up. But thank you for coming in and bringing your soul and your voice into this circle. It's very appreciated, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, there's so many points that so many people haven't heard before, like that explanation that you gave about the beads. I have to process that. That's a big one. I heard that you're supposed to treat your beads nicely like a deity, but now it's that's another level. It's a rasa dance. Michelle from Nashville says, I would love a class on the comparison of the feet of Krishna and the feet of Radharani. Going esoteric here.
Yeah, no, there's there's a whole science, there's a whole class behind that. Michelle is absolutely right. There is, like, I did a quick, very brief summary, kind of rushed through the symbols on Lord Krishna's feet, but there's similarly an exposition on Radharani's feet, lotus feet, and then also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, Nityananda Prabhu's feet. They all have different symbols, and they all mean something, So it's really, really there's no end to the glories of the Lord, including the tiny little markings on their lotus feet. It's just everything you see. It's sweetness from beginning to end. Not only the sweetness for immediate relief, but also philosophical depth that helps us come out of our unnecessarily complicated minds.
That's right. Unnecessarily complicated minds. Yeah. Okay, reflections. Let's do it, dear devotees. Unmute yourself. Take advantage of Madame Gopal.
Well, I want to appreciate Vanisha. Vanisha has been coming. She came to Tuaco on Friday evening and all day yesterday, and we spent. We're doing this disciples course, and so she's been contributing to that quite a bit, and is really appreciated. She's making the trek even today, I believe. So looking forward to that. Thank you, Vanisha, and she joined for this too. But I'm going to rush out of this class to teach that class. I think Vanisha is also going to be on her way there. So thank you, Vanisha. But thank you all. I think it should be almost time for opening of the curtains, right? But until then, I guess, anybody have any comments?
Everybody's blown away, I tell you. I am blown away. I'm going to chant like with burning tears. Thank you for that. That's a jewel that you shared with us. Bhima Prabhu has his hand up. You have to keep your hands on the wheel, Bhima Prabhu. Come on.
If I crash with my hands off the wheel, but in paying obeisances to Madana Gopal, do I go back to Godhead? It's an easy way out.
No, don't do that.
Oh,
Try
come
not
on.
to do that.
Come on. I just want to quickly say, I don't think I'll ever look at my beads the same way again. I'm surprised after so many decades. I often find myself putting my beads down and saying, I don't need my beads. I'll just chant on my own, so I can get work done or, do something with my hands and chant. And now I realize that if I have those beads in my hand, this is the rasa dance, and I should be paying as much attention as anybody would inside a dance. So thank you very much, Prabhu. Sometimes it's just the little things that stick with you forever. And of course, chanting is the most important thing we can do, and attention is the most important thing we can do while chanting. So thank you for helping us to understand why we need to pay attention, because Krishna is indeed inviting us to this rasa dance. Hare Krishna.
Attention is one of the most important things you can do while driving also. So yes, it's just very important overall. But thank you. Yes, attention means it's the beginning step of love. Love is not that easily available, but attention, you can at least start. Maybe what we could do is we could have a separate session on this pronunciation or recitation guide of mantras and the verses, and we can have a session on japa improvement. Like, there's some pretty cool things that I've learned from His Holiness Sachinanda Swami Maharaj. They're all available, but I packaged them into a presentation and just like half an hour presentation, and it works quite a bit.
Let's do it. How do we tune into that?
Well, let's you and I talk offline. We can just schedule a session, and we'll figure it out that works, the time that you think works for most devotees. Like say a weekend like this, like a Sunday, like after the Bhagavatam class, we can set aside, or after breakfast or something, and set aside a 45-minute session, one for pronunciation and a separate one for japa, something like that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, how are we doing in terms of darshan, in terms of being seen by the Lord? We don't know. Would you like to say something, Adipusha?
Okay, wonderful class. Just supremely wonderful class. Perfect. Hard to add anything. One word that jumped out to us, praying to Prabhupada, what to say in the title of the class is constant, the word constant, and how the gopis weren't interested in taking a break. Sometimes we take a break in order so that we can serve, so that's also service, but they just immersed, fixed, focused, constantly on Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. The Prabhupada said the Bhagavatam, and in ordinary endeavor, there's put your nose to the grindstone, put your shoulder to the wheel, work hard, Tiaga, and then Boga, indulgence, go out on the weekend and get drunk. So materially, people go back and forth between Boga and Tiaga, but devotees are satisfied in their service. They don't need anything else. They're not looking for, let me get a break from the service and go to this concert or go to this, some other thing, because devotional service isn't enough. But of course, somebody can go to a concert for service for the sake of learning something in order to use that in Krishna service. Prabhu was saying very nicely how we want to leverage whatever we hear in the Bhagavatam class and apply it in our life. Very nice. Glories to Prabhupada. Prabhupada's told us all this stuff, and Prabhu already explained everything perfectly. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. I like your point of constant. I think, like sometimes when you say I need a break, like, I've done so much devotional service, I chanted so much, I read so much, I need a break from it. It's kind of like, we are like fishes flapping on the shore of the river or lake. We are fishes. We don't belong on the shore flapping and struggling for breath, and just enough moisture to keep us alive, okay? Our gills wet. That's it. That's all we have. And then occasionally we stick our faces into the water and it's so nice. Now, the foolish fish, we're like, I'm in the water. I need a break from this water, and then come out again. It's a fake relief where you're taking a break from breathing by holding your breath. You think that's the break, but the break is when you put your face in the water. So for us, really, the relief only comes when you're immersed in Krishna's name, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's service, Krishna's mission. That's where the nectar is. We need a break from the break that we've been taking. That's the problem.
What does it mean when Prabhupada says that bhakti is a gradual process? Doesn't that mean that we can go to a concert?
It's a gradual process. No, that's right. It's a gradual process because the fish are foolish. And the gradual process means it's a gradual removal of their foolishness. So if one fish is substantially smarter than the other fish, it's not that gradual. They just dive right into it. But for most of us, because the conditioning is so deep, our foolishness is so strong that we have to kind of peel off layer by layer of silliness that we've been doing, pettiness. And then we realize there's nothing more to be had in all the 14 worlds than the holy name of the Lord. There's nothing more to be had. There's nothing more. Avail Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays. In the 14 worlds, which is every level of material existence, there's nothing more to be had than the holy name of the Lord. Everything else is so insignificant by comparison. It's nothing. It's no thing at all. But it's a gradual realization because of the choices we've made.
Let me say pranadana, that the service to Krishna is my very life's breath. Very life's breath. And one devotee said, you know what a Doberman Pinscher is? It's a dog.
Yeah,
The dog.
dog. Yeah.
Has pointed ears. Well, actually, a Doberman Pinscher, they're born with round, flappy ears and a long tail. But Doberman Pinschers always have this stubby little tail. So one devotee said, imagine, it's so weird, just for cosmetic, they cut the ears like that point and they cut the tail. Imagine, well, poor dog cut his tail off. Maybe we'll just cut off a little at a time. It's a gradual process. Just cut it off and get it over with and minimize the break, from material life. Run to the left. Here comes the concho.
Hare Krishna. Okay, darshan time. We're going to be seen by the Lord. Thank you, Madana Gopala Prabhu. Wonderful class. Mind-blowing class. Adipurusha Prabhu, adjust the camera, please. Krishna can see me.
The curtain's not open. It's going to be just now coming.
Okay. Jai. Hare Krishna. Any final instructions for us, Madam Gopala Prabhu?
Well, not an instruction. I wanted to invite everybody. So there is a temple about 30 miles outside of Manhattan. It's in a little town called Towacco. Sounds like a weird name, but that's the name of the town. But we have a beautiful ISKCON temple there with the Shishi Gaur Nitai, who are incredibly beautiful. Vanishi can attest to that. And we have also, I believe for the first time joining us today, Prashant Prabhu from Jersey City. He's also online. He's also one of our Disciples Course students. There he is. Hare Krishna, Prashant Prabhu. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed today's circle of devotees. They're really wonderful. And I wanted to invite all of you to come out today to bless us. We're having a ceremony this afternoon at 5 o'clock. It's going to be an initiation ceremony where 2 devotees are going to receive initiation. So if you'd like to participate and come and give blessings, that'll be very welcome. So just want to invite everybody on behalf of the temple. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wow. Madam Gopala Prabhu is serving as initiating guru. How wonderful is that? That we have such qualified devotees doing that service. He's doing that in a humble state of mind upon the request of his guru. So that's a service.
I'll attest that Towacco, for those of you who live in New York, may seem mentally far away, but it's only about like a half hour plus driving.
Yeah, don't be mental. It's not too far.
It's not that far. I know New Jersey seems like another foreign country and something like that.
It's mentally far away, but it's very close, and it's very much worth it.
You can watch online, by the way. The ISKCON of New Jersey YouTube channel. It's the ISKCON of New Jersey YouTube channel. If any of them, you can just kind of go to YouTube and look at ISKCON. It's going to be 5 o'clock. That's going to be there. So, you know what? Let me just actually give you the channel so that I'll just share it right here on this, so you don't.
What does Prashant mean? Does that mean mercy?
Prashant means completely peaceful.
Prashant, okay. Peaceful.
In the Hindi name for the Pacific Ocean is Prashant Mahasagar.
Oh wow!
Pacific Ocean, right? The great peaceful ocean. Yes. All right. So I've put in the channel here. if anybody wants to just join. And Jeffrey Ackler kindly put in the address under Jacksonville Road and the website. That's the website. The YouTube channel is a different thing. ISKCON of New Jersey. So every Sunday we broadcast that. So if you want to join, but thank you all once again for having me. It's always a pleasure to be with a circle of devotees who every single one of you is so serious about improving your own personal connection with Krishna. It is rare to find so many devotees in one place who are so serious. I'm not saying it to flatter you. I feel from all your interactions. So it's a blessing for me. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna. Let's all bless Madame Gopala Prabhu for many, many, many years and lifetimes of devotional service. And let's all wash our bead bags. This is where Rasa dance happens. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Wash it once in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna.